Welcome to another episode of Inspirational Entrepreneurial Stories. My name is Desmond. I'm going to be your host, and we have another very interesting guest with us on the show. His name is Ralf Armbrüster. Ralf is actually located in Germany. Ralf is actually in his 50s, and he was originally an entrepreneur from his 20s. He never gave up on that dream. He comes from a very engineering background, has even worked in companies where he helped them scale to over 100 million. But then he found himself challenged because he himself was not really growing his own company. He then steps off and starts his own business. And for years he struggles as a solopreneur until he met some mentors and joined some masterminds. And I don't want to steal that story. I want to introduce Ralf and let him tell you that story. So stick on all the way to the very end. You might just be a business owner, an entrepreneur who is struggling the same way. And I want you to pay attention to what Ralf talks about and how he overcame those challenges. Ralf, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, Desmond. Glad I can talk to you this evening. And my name is Ralf. I started my business. I'm now 51, and I started my business almost 30 years ago, or 31 years ago. After I graduated the high school, I started studying, and while studying, I started my first business.
What kind of business did you start? What did you not want to work at a company? You went through high school, university. Did you not want to work at a company first and get a job and get some experience, or what was that drive?
Yeah, actually, it was a friendship to another guy who was at school with me, and we liked to work with computers. So we thought about maybe 30 years ago, the computer business was just starting. The first PCs were coming up. So we thought about how would it be if we would go for being self-employed, building a small business and selling computers, building computers. Also at that time, you constructed the computers, you bought the parts, assembled them, and then you sold the computers with a slightly profit. And that was our plan at that time, to grow a business selling computers.
How long did that last, Ralf? How long did that business last, and what happened to it? Are you still running that business? Was it successful?
Not really. The first, I would say, 5 or 6 years didn't work out very good, because we were not only selling computers, but whatever came up, we tried to sell. So we also built some software, we bought some software and resold it. Software for craftsmen, software for dealers, software for whatever. So we tried to do everything. Then we sold networks and things like that. So we weren't focused at that time. And so the business didn't work out very well. After a few years, we had massive debt. So 5 years, 6 years.
How much debt? When you say massive debt, how much was massive debt after 5 years?
In German marks, it was almost 500,000. So it was massively.
Wow.
Massive amount.
Converting that to maybe euros today, how much would that be? About
250.
Got it. $250,000 in debt.
Yes.
Two partners. After 5 years, you're 25 years old at the time. You're now, $250,000 in debt, €250,000 euros in debt. Okay.
Right. That was the point when I decided to quit that business, or to break up with a partner. And he was a friend, but we couldn't do business together. It wasn't focused. Everybody, he and me, had different intentions, different goals, and so this didn't work. So I decided to take over this whole business, made a plan to get out of that debt, and started after 7 years, I started developing own software. So I made a huge shift from selling everything, building everything, and then I focused on software. And at that time also I found my first, I would say, business book, which everybody reads, Think and Grow Rich. And I started to really think about building a business.
Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. I mean, I have it up here on my bookshelf there. It's kind of buried underneath the Speed of Trust there. But Think and Grow Rich is kind of more of a mindset thing. And you were still in debt. and it started making you think about building a proper business. Tell me more about that journey, because you're now 51, so there's a gap there in that story. What happened? You read Think and Grow Rich. Did you take any courses? Did you, Napoleon Hill talks about a mastermind and having mentors and stuff. What happened? What was the shift for you?
Well, not at that time. At that time, I first became a freelance software developer. So I went to businesses and developed software for them. So I actually did not have a product. I just did it day by day, went to the business, developed software. But during time, out of these experiences, I recognized the needs of the customers. And out of this, I started to build products. And one of my first product that I started about 20 years ago was an interface software, which connects different systems and automates business. And that was the first the first time that I got out of debt, that I made profit. And then the business grew and grew and grew, and more products came. And this worked almost for 12 years. And the business also grew. And after 12 years, 2012, I was at 350,000 euros at that time revenue per year, which was basically, as I'm developing software, selling software, a huge part of this was profit. But 2012 was the time where I recognized this is too much for me. So,
were you still operating as an individual, or did you have a team? Did you have an office space?
No, as you can imagine, as I had this massive problems at the beginning with the partner, I wasn't ready to build a business or build a team or grow a business with partners or staff members. I just wanted to do it alone. I wanted to have it under control and not running again in a situation that I had 10 years ago. So what I wanted to do is, of course, I would like to have a team at that time. I would have needed a team, but I didn't want to. And but in 2012 it was so overwhelming, it was so exhausting that I decided to give up that business. That time, one of my customers asked me if I would like to work for them because they urgently needed someone to build their projects, to organize their business, to help them grow their business. And so they asked me, and one of my resellers who resold my software made me an offer to take over my software licenses and to continue this business. And so I said yes, and I quit my business 2012.
So you've actually quit.
Yes.
You didn't go bankrupt, but you quit the business. You shut it down.
No, it was profitable. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't not profitable. It was profitable. I made a nice, decent income. But as a solopreneur...
What was the problem? Yeah, what was the pain? Even though you're making profit, what was the problem?
Yeah, the problem was solopreneur. I didn't want to have staff members. I didn't want to build a team. And it was time consuming. You have customers that have some problems with the software you already sold them. You had to do the support. I basically did everything in the business. So it was very overwhelming. And I didn't like it anymore. I'm a passionate software developer. I like to develop software. I like to find solutions to make things work, to automate things. That was my passion, and I was making decent money with that. But it was so overwhelming, and I had no clue and no idea how to build a team. And I also didn't want it. I didn't dare to make another partnership like that.
So then tell us about the story where you go work for the client that hired you. What happened there?
The client hired me, and I was there in the leadership team, in the management team. I was also responsible for the IT infrastructure. My company, my own company at that time, had 350,000 euros revenue per year. This company had about 50 million. And I was 3 years there, and they could grow their revenue by, I think, up to 150 million. So it grew very fast, and also my work there helped them growing the business. But as you can imagine, if you are self-employed, if you are your own boss, it wasn't my thing. So after 3 years in this business, I decided to quit and left the company and started all over again with again as freelancer, as software developer, and then I found my first contact to marketing, especially to online marketing, to automated systems. I learned about that software, but I had to build my business from scratch. I didn't have any customers. I didn't have any products that I could sell, so I had to start. And first year I made about 50,000 euros, but it was very quiet, it was very good, and it was under control. And at that time, I also decided to hire just one person, to help me build content online. So the team member, this one person, Nadia's name is her name, she helped me build blog posts, content on my websites. So I made a SEO strategy to build, to publish all my products that I had and all my offers that I could deliver. And this started working quite good. But you can imagine, it was kind of the same story than before. I got customers, I got companies that hired me to build their software. I took over my former software again because the other company that had a license for it gave up. So I took this back, and a few years later I was at the same level, a little bit higher, 440,000 euros, and basically at the same situation than I was before.
But now you're much older, right? And from what I understand of you, Ralf, I mean, you and I were good friends, and you've got a wife, and you guys enjoy traveling. It's very hard to travel and enjoy life while being stuck in the office working 60, 70 hours a week, right?
And I remember one holiday in December. In December we traveled to South Africa usually. I was out of 4 weeks holiday, at least 3 weeks working. And this was not the life that I imagined before. I could afford this because South Africa, as you can imagine, is not the cheapest destination, but it wasn't really a holiday. So I had to think about building a team. This couldn't work anymore. If I just go ahead as I have done before, I would get the same results. So I had to change something.
Okay, so that's a critical point. Pay attention there, because for the viewers watching this, they want to know what, I'm sure someone who's watching this can resonate with your story, Ralf. What then changed for you? What was the big shift? You realized that. What was the next critical step? If you look back in time, there was something that you did that was very critical. That's why you're a success story today. But if you look back in time, there was something that shifted. You were feeling unhappy. What did you do? Was there a book you read? Was it a video you saw? Was it someone you talked to that said, hey, you need to talk to this person? What shifted?
Different things. First of all, I recognized I couldn't do it alone anymore. So I thought about hiring someone to help me with the support. And so I started looking for a person to work as a software supporter. And the second thing was, the problem with the business was I was doing all the sales. So I had a classic sales education. So I was doing, usually I was driving to the customer, presenting my software and doing the whole sales talk, 7 steps from the first discovery to analysis of the needs and things like that, and finally to the close and to closing the deal. And I did the whole journey. And what I saw some videos from Dan Lok, and he said, actually, well, you can split this. You can do the closing, the high ticket work, and split it and make the other thing, the lead generation and the preparing of the close, do some other people. So I got the idea of structuring the business differently and not relying only on me, responsible for all the sales and all the customer journey from the first contact to the delivery of the product. And I started thinking about structuring this.
How many years ago was this? How many years ago was this, and what sort of revenue change did you notice by doing that?
I joined, as you know, I joined the High Ticket Closer program, and this is not far. This is just two and a half years ago. I was stuck at 440,000 euros, so with a low profit, of course, and. Starting this, the journey with Dan Lok gave me much more, I would say, kind of mind shift. It changed the confidence that I had because first time ever I thought about not being attached to the sale. I had enough customers, but I still was running after each sale, and this mind shift, not wanting to get every single customer, gave me much more confidence. This was one of the first steps to be more relaxed, to having more confidence, and also to ask for a reasonable price for the value that I was delivering. A very important shift was to think about the value that I bring to the customer and not to calculate the hours I'm working for him. And so I could raise my price, I could raise my income, and at the same time reduce my time. And then the journey started.
Interesting, Ralf. I want to chime in here for a second. So just for the viewers watching this as well too, Ralf and I connected as well too. He did join the High Ticket Closer program, which is put on by Dan Lok, right? So if you don't already know, one of my mentors, I'm a business owner. I own several companies. I work with my wife and also work with several other business owners. I do business consulting, but I really also grew myself as an entrepreneur because of multiple mentors, but one in particular is Dan Lok. And Ralf and I connected in the Dan Lok community because I was one of the co-instructors, and Ralf had joined as a business owner wanting to learn more about sales and how to improve his sales. And then we realized that because he is needing his sales, but there was a lot of other areas that he needed as an entrepreneur. Right? You needed to grow in marketing, you needed to grow in scaling teams, operations, systems, which is not covered in the High Ticket Closer program. So Ralf, tell the viewers about that journey. When you and I connected, it was shortly after you had graduated. You were seeing an increase in your sales, which is good. You were applying what you learned. But now let's talk about the other things, the other 80%, 90% stuff, which is not covered in the High Ticket Closer program that you needed as a business owner.
What I realized during High Ticket Closer that of course I got more confident, the sales rate went up, but Desmond, I actually don't exactly remember how we connected, but at some point we got in contact, and you were the one who said that this High Ticket Influencer program would be something that could help me because I have a lot of knowledge, of course, I have a lot of experience. And building the personal media platform would be something that would help me get leads, build trust, and reduce the time that I spend selling the whole journey or doing the whole selling process with the customer. So I think you brought me into the High Ticket Influencer program.
Correct, and that now has even changed. The name has now been rebranded to the SDS. We call the SDS the Smart Dragon system, right? Because it's usually what people, entrepreneurs that are not yet quite at the Dragon 100 level, they need to go through. The business owners need to implement, whether it's their, we call it the PMP, right? Which is the personal media platform. It's your marketing, it's your branding, it's the content, the social media that you are doing. It's also the actual funnels and the details, the webinars, those kind of content, as well as also public speaking and many other areas that we covered. So yes, I do remember challenging you to go through that. Did I have to hold your hand? Did I babysit you, or what was that experience like? How would you explain that to somebody who's never experienced it?
Yeah, I never experienced any babysitting from you. but you hold me accountable. So I remember that you sometimes just ask, how is it working? How is it going? You offered help, but the main thing you have to bring with you is to be an implementer. That's, as I was a business owner and I was running a business for many years, I'm obviously an implementer. So I implemented a lot of that, what I got. And so also the webinar that I got, actually the high ticket influencer or the smart challenge, for example, is much better than the high ticket influencer. At that point, I thought, I'm not an influencer. I'm not a YouTube guy. I'm not influencer. For me was someone who's producing YouTube videos and selling some affiliate stuff. I didn't think that this would work for an actual real business, because I'm a real businessman. I'm selling real products to small and medium companies. So influencer was for me something that is far away from what I could imagine. But this program really helped me to build my media platform, to set up a YouTube channel. I don't have many followers, but if you can imagine, my products are priced at 10 to 20,000 euros. So I don't need 10,000 followers. I just need a few views to get customers that reach out to me and finally just ask me what's the price for this product. So building that media platform, or building this infrastructure, YouTube channel, of Facebook Facebook page, also my website, blog posts, and connecting all that led to much more traffic, just coming from search engines and from YouTube, and offloaded me. So I have much less work than I had before.
What would you say, how much did your income grow after you implemented what was in the HTI, the high ticket influencer, which is now the Smart Dragon system? How much would you say your revenue joined? This is even before you were getting, mentorship with Dan directly. You had encountered with him in the high ticket closer program, but you were not directly communicating with Dan. Just going through this challenge that Dan, and even Smart Challenge, he had asked you to go through the content there. How much did your revenue grow? How much did your time get reduced?
I would say my time, of course, time reduced. I wouldn't say my time got reduced, but the time that I spent chasing customers was drastically reduced. So I could focus on building my business, on that, not on working in the business all the time. And this shifted, and I would say 20-30% now is working on the business, building structures, building processes, building systems, and 70-80% is still tactical work, working in the business, supporting my team member. And what I would say in terms of how much did it grow, I would say I make half of that I currently have responsible for just for this media platform and what you teach me, and this is 100,000-200,000 extra income per year, something
that's phenomenal.
Yeah,
that's a great start. So then what happens next is you qualified to be invited to the Dragon 100. We went through an interview process. It was a very strict process. I'm sure you remember that, even with financials and a lot of scrutiny. And then after that, you were accepted and you joined into the Dragon 100. So it's sort of like you and I was your accountability partner, or sort of a junior mentor for you. And then I now handed you off to my mentor, Dan Locke. Tell the viewers what that journey has been like. What happened when you first entered the Dragon 100? And obviously there's a lot of exclusivity and privacy that's within the Dragon 100, but you can reveal a little bit. Ralf, I'll give you some permission. What has that journey been like? Entering, was it overwhelmed? What were the critical things that you felt are the most valuable in being inside a mastermind like Dragon 100?
Well, in the Dragon 100, Dan is sharing a lot of really high valuable insights. First lesson I remember was about, I was a little bit confused actually, because he was telling about how to overcome the crisis. at that time, when Dragon 100 started, I was one of the first members. We just Corona crisis was coming up, or coronavirus was coming up, and so we had the first lesson about overcoming the crisis, and it was basically about building cash flow. And I thought, okay, that's general advice. That's. I first thought, okay, why should I do this? I can do this on my own. But basically, the numbers of advices that I got in this one lesson made me save so much money that I could pay the whole program for the whole year for that. So it was so valuable, and especially at the beginning of the crisis, you had to look on your cash flow, because you need, of course, I need staff members, I need building up a team, and for that I need money. So reducing the costs and making the business more effective, more efficient, led me to be able to hire a team. And so all of a sudden, after a few weeks, this made sense to start with exactly what we needed at that point, or what I needed at that point. And then, of course, it led to build a system to systemize the business. What I've not done in the high ticket closer program. High ticket closer is about being a really good closer, and it helped me a lot closing deals. What Dragon 100 did is then help me build systems, systemize the business, organize the business, and focus on a goal. And then real nice journey started.
Ralf, can you explain to the viewers what is the value of having a mentor or having a mastermind to communicate or be held accountable, or as a business owner? So think of it this way. Imagine you're going back in time and you're speaking to a younger Ralf, or even any other viewer who might be younger than you, or younger in the sense of the business, not physical age, but maybe, in terms of the journey where they're at. What would you say to them? If you could go back and do things again, how would you make things more optimized? How would you make things more efficient? What decisions would you make faster?
First thing I would say is find a mentor. If you've done something and you experienced something, that was what Dan did, and then tell others about it, or tell it within this small group, and be very open to what your own mistakes were, then the others can avoid mistakes. So I would first say find a mentor, find someone to connect with, find someone to get advice, where you can just ask. It's not about, as you said, babysitting. It's not about having someone who is sitting on your side and always watching what you're doing and teaching you everything, but find someone who gives you the right direction, where to go, and also find someone who is telling you how to define your goal. One of the most thing, when I started in the very beginning, was I was too broad. I had too much different products, too much different services that I was providing. It was just going in every direction, and then finally in no direction except going down. And what I would say today is find your niche, find your goal, find your target, and then take everything and put it in the same direction. And that's exactly what I got in Dragon 100.
Has Dan been able to give you very precise things to do, which have, did he overwhelm you? Did he say, fix these 4 or 5 things? Or did he just say, work on this thing, come back to me, work on this thing, come back to me? What has that been like?
You don't get instruction. Of course, there is a lot of material. So I would say Dragon 100 is a buffet. We get so much courses, knowledge, checklists and things like that. But it's more kind of find your way, find your goal, and here's a buffet. You can take what you want and take this what you need right now. And I got some advice to go in a certain direction. For example, to build a team, to offload, to find someone to support, find someone to organize the business, kind of operator. But you don't get this micro steps. We are not micromanaged, and as an owner, I should also not micromanage my team. It's more, you get the path and you get the tools, and of course quarterly, as you know, we report the results, so you are held accountable for results, but not hold accountable for each single step. You must work on your own, of course. You must implement and must know what you want and where you want to go, but the direction is what makes the difference.
So Ralf, if you don't mind, share with the audience as well too, even in just a year, it's been about a year, you're coming up on your anniversary of being a Dragon member and also starting this journey of not just doing a solopreneur, but building teams, scaling, having a mentor, having accountability partners. Can you share with the audience how much has your revenue grown? Give a number, whether it's in the number, the multiple, the percentage is grown, or even just tell them, what is your annual revenue right now at this current time of recording?
As a company, I have to publish the revenue, so it's not a secret. I was stuck at 440,000 in 2019, and last year we grew to 700,000, so almost 50% growth. I actually have current numbers, so the first quarter of this year compared to first quarter of last year is the revenue doubled, and also the income of the company is 10 times higher. So the profit is 10 times higher than I had it before. I'm still not a 10 million company. I'm on the way to become, but 10 times more profit is quite nice. And also one advice, if you make money or if you make more money, always think about that you will need it to invest. I want to grow the business, so I will have to invest. Every new team member needs some time to work in the business. Every new team member increases the costs, of course, so I let the money in the company and grow the business and make it really, really big. My goal is to go to 10 millions in 10 years, and then I can think about rewarding myself. But at that time I'm very happy and very relaxed about the growth and also about the cash flow that we now have to be able to invest and to be able to think about the future. That's a huge difference if you are able to plan and think and invest where it's needed, instead of running after each customer and chasing each customer to get the next deal. So that is basically what changed. And I'm much more relaxed. I have much more revenue than I had before, and I'm at the same time much more relaxed, and there's no chance to get burnout or something like that. I would have a real chance 2 years ago to be exhausted and finally quit again.
Would you say, Ralf, that you've got your passion back? Would you say that you've regained your passion and now you have a clear vision, some clarity as to where you're going? I'm sure you're pragmatic. You realize there will be challenges coming ahead. I think you welcome the challenges, but at least now you know you don't have to do it by yourself. Share the last thoughts there. And if anyone is watching this interview and they want to inquire, especially you have a lot of clients in the European sector, in Germany, in Eastern Europe, in Central Europe, share with them how they can contact you. I'll post your information in the description below, but what is it you do? Will you offer them a consultation and then help them to look at their business, a discovery call? What problems can you solve for them? So just wrap up by saying, do you feel you got your passion back? What is that? Tell me about that, and then how can people contact you?
My passion, and that's also the goal of our company, is to help customers grow, help customers to automate building an online business, especially online shops. So we connect online shops with ERP software, automate this process, and we make it really easy to handle orders, perfect communication with the customers, and so we help customers to get their success and to grow. And if someone is interested, wants to work with us, just go on www.intellicon.de. There's a contact form. You can contact with my team, schedule a call, and we will find your solution to grow your business by growing your online sales.
That's phenomenal. I'm super proud of you, Ralf. We know that we're going to be watching you grow and scale, deliver massive value to the marketplace. It's been awesome having you on this series to share your inspirational journey. If you're watching this interview and you'd like to ask Ralf some questions, please comment below. I will even make sure to reach out to Ralf to make sure that if you ask some technical questions, he is going to chime in, or you can reach out to his team as he has mentioned, and that will be in the description as well. We look forward to having Ralf back on the show here again. If you'd like to have him come back and tell more about his journey, maybe we'll bring him back when he's hitting the 1 million, the 5 million, the 10 million mark, and he can share about his journey as well too. We hope to see you in the next episode.